Hello everyone, myself is Divya Bahal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that I am going to take is petroleum refining and petrochemicals. So in last lecture we studied about gasoline, finally the properties and that some important tests which are associated with gasoline. So in this chapter we are going to talk about certain additives which are added into gasoline. Okay, so moving forward with the lecture. So what are the additives which are added into gasoline? Okay, there are some anti-icing agents and detergents, inhibitors, antioxidants, combustion aids, anti-knocking agents, and dyes. Okay, so all of these additives have their certain role. For example, anti-icing agents and detergents. Okay, they are used, from name itself you can see anti-icing agent is used to decrease its freezing point. Okay, inhibitors are used to inhibit the corrosion. Antioxidants are used to prevent the oxidation reaction. Okay, combustion aids are used to aid the combustion, increase the combustion. Then anti-knocking agents, okay, we discussed in gasoline also when we were talking about octane number. It is used to decrease the knocking characteristics of fuel. Okay, and finally dyes are there. So moving forward with anti-icing agents and detergents. Okay, so ice crystals begin to form when temperature is below -5 degrees Celsius. Okay, see, your gasoline is used in various places. Okay, be it ice cold area, warm area. Okay, so when we are transporting our fuel to ice cold area, okay, northern regions, so where temperature, ambient temperature is below -5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so there is chances, possibilities of ice crystals to begin. Now we don't want ice crystals to be present in gasoline. Okay, because that can cause a severe accident also. So hence certain aids have to be done, to be added into the gasoline. So for prevention of that, certain additives are added. Okay, like glycols, monoethers, methanol, propanol, etc. are added. So what does these additives do? Okay, these additive increases the freezing point. Okay, they increase the freezing point of your gasoline. So ice crystals do not form now. Now about detergents, where detergents are needed. See, for moving parts, okay, like talking about an engine, pistons are there, though that is a moving part. Okay, and certain moving parts are there in the combustion chamber also, where lubrication is needed. Okay, so what happens, because of frictional heat, okay, decomposition takes place, and because of that those lubricants, they deposits in your combustion chamber. Now because of these deposits are there, what they are going to do, they are going to inhibit the good combustion. Okay, your combustion is not going to be complete now because of the presence of those deposits. Okay, knocking is one of the reason why it happens. Okay, because these deposits, they contribute to the untimely burning of fuel. Hence we do not want the depositions in the combustion chamber, and because of that certain detergents are added also, that are malic anhydride, polyamines, polyisobutylene, etc. Okay, so we have seen the additives like anti-icing agents and detergents. Yes, see, talking about the moving parts. Okay, where you can see here in the figure how the deposits, it causes problem. Okay, starting from fuel injector, intake valve, and combustion chamber, you can see the decomposition. Okay, the decomposition of lubrication oil, it causes deposits to settle. Okay, so you can see that in the fuel injector itself, it's not able to spray properly. Okay, similarly in intake valve and combustion chamber. So as to avoid these kind of depositions, we add certain detergents to the fuel. Next is inhibitors. The role of inhibitors is to prevent the rusting. Okay, these additives are used to prevent rusting because of storage and transportation of petroleum products. Okay, transportation and storage of petroleum products takes place, and it causes rusting to happen. So additives like ammonium sulfonates, organophosphoric compounds are added into the gasoline so as to prevent the rusting. Okay, now another kind of corrosion that takes place is lead corrosion. Okay, you will study further. We studied this in octane number also. Okay, lead is one of the additive which you add so as to improve the knocking characteristics of your fuel. Okay, now lead also corrode, and it is undesirable, okay, because lead is needed to increase the knocking characteristics, okay, anti-knock properties of your fuel. And so additives like magnesium and silicon compounds are added which prevent lead corrosion. You can see how gasoline causes the rusting, okay. In the right hand side you can see how rusting takes place, okay. This is now moving forward. Third one is the antioxidants, okay. From name itself, it inhibits the oxidation reaction. Now, the unsaturated compounds present in oil have tendency to undergo oxidation, leading to gum formation. This was studied in gum content also, okay. It was one of the tests, one of the property which we studied in gasoline, okay. The unsaturated compounds, generally olefins, okay, they are prone to reaction, okay. They can react easily because they have unstable bonds. So, now we also studied that the reaction is free radical reaction, okay. It means it is a chain reaction. So yes, so we have to add certain antioxidants which break the cycle, okay. What are the antioxidants which we add? Like phenols, glycols, diamines. These are the antioxidants which you add into the gasoline, okay. Now, without antioxidants, fuel should not be stored for more than 6 months. See, in refinery, as your gasoline is produced, okay, it is not directly pumped, okay, it is stored also. There is very storage facilities also in the refineries, okay. They are those because it is a continuous production, okay. The refinery is a continuous production, okay. It continuously distills crude into gasoline. Now, because continuously it is formed in tons of amount, it has to be stored sometimes. So if your storage is for more than 6 months, okay, so of course the chances is that your oxidation reaction can start, and hence we have to add antioxidants in it. So let's see what happens when oxidation occurs. So you can see the difference in the two samples. The right one shows the formation of gum, okay. Slowly gum formation takes place and it settles down into the bottom. Hence antioxidants are used. So now talking about anti-knocking agents, okay. Now, this is one of the most important kind of additive which you add into gasoline, okay. See, gasoline, we discussed octane number was one of the most important properties, okay. It tells about the anti-knock characteristics of fuel, okay. Your gasoline engine, okay, it is prone to knocking. Now, what is knocking? We discussed earlier also. What is knocking? It is untimely combustion of your fuel, okay, premature combustion. Now, when we were talking about use of detergents as additive, okay, that deposits, okay, what are that lubrication? When your lubrication undergoes decomposition because of frictional heat, okay, it settles down as deposits, okay. At the end, what are these deposits? These deposits are flammable in nature, okay. So because these deposits are there, okay, instead of your fuel, before your fuel, these deposits undergo combustion, okay, they ignite, and because of that we face the problem of premature combustion, okay. It is also called as self ignition, okay. Your gasoline engine is not made for self ignition. Spark plug is there so as to serve as an ignition source, okay. So in knocking, the reason for knocking is, okay, that premature combustion takes place. So certain additives are added into gasoline which actually avoid the knocking characteristics of fuel. So what is the most important kind of additive which you add? TEL, that is tetraethyl lead, okay. Nowadays the use of lead has been decreased, okay. Nowadays we have new kind of additive, that is MTBE instead of TEL which is used. But lead, okay, the mechanism of lead, like how it controls the propagation of flame, many arguments are there, but the most suitable argument is that the ions of lead, okay, they try to stop the propagation of flame. Hence an instantaneous combustion is there, which decreases the knocking effect, okay. It inhibits the premature combustion. That is the function of lead, okay. The ions of lead, that way it can. But why now instead of lead we use different kind of additive? Because see, lead is a harmful chemical, okay. It is poisonous in nature, and so its pollution, it is one of the major pollutant which also affects your health. Just like benzene, it is also one of the additive which you add. Benzene and lead both are carcinogenic, okay. They are responsible, like benzene is responsible for cancer related problems. Lead is also poisonous in nature. And so we are avoiding lead as a additive, and instead of lead now MTBE is introduced as a new anti-knocking agent. Nowadays MTBE is used. So you can see which the grades you have, leaded and unleaded gasoline. Okay, in unleaded the price is more. Okay, because you are not using lead there as an anti-knocking agent, you are using a more expensive anti-knocking agent, hence the price of unleaded petrol is more. What is MTBE? It is methyl tertiary butyl ether. Okay. Now, experimentally it is known that only 10% dosage of MTBE increases the octane number by 5 to 6 values. Okay. So that is the reason why you use your anti-knocking agents as additives in gasoline. Now, first let us understand what is knocking. So you can see primary flame front is there where your combustion should take place. Okay, your spark plugs, it gives you an ignition source. Okay, your spark plug acts as an ignition source and then combustion takes place. But see, secondary flame front, okay, that is the unwanted flame that takes place when your compression of flammable mixture happens. Okay, because of compression, temperature and pressure increases, right? And these deposits which are there in your combustion chamber, what happens? They undergo premature combustion. Talking about combustion aids, okay, we will study further what is this is a different kind of additive which you add in your gasoline. So yes, again, so see, from this we can say that the prime reason of knocking is the unwanted deposits which are there in your chambers. Okay, so what happens is deposits in your combustion chamber, it is the reason why untimely combustion takes place. Okay, so you have to minimize these deposits. For that, combustion aids like boron are added into the gasoline. What this boron does is it reduces the effect of deposits. Okay, it reduces the deposits, and simultaneously it increases the effectiveness anti-knocking agents. Okay, it increases its effectiveness. Now, anti-knocking agents we studied just earlier itself that TEL, MTBE are certain anti-knocking agents which you add. So you can see how in combustion chamber the deposits are there. Now the final kind of additive which you add in your gasoline are the dyes. See, the sole purpose of dyes is for the differentiation. Okay, in refinery when your crude is subject to distillation, the fractions which you get, okay, they are more or less same in color. Okay, now to differentiate these fractions, one of the reason is that you add dye. See, as you make different blend, okay, the different blend causes the color to vary, but still there is a very less difference between different blends also. As we discussed in earlier lectures that refinery makes almost 40 kinds of different gasoline blends. Okay, 40 different kinds of gasolines are there. So to differentiate those blends, certain additives like dyes are added. The sole purpose is for identification purpose. Now other is to know if your gasoline is undergoing some deterioration or not. Okay, like gum formation is there. Okay, if we are talking about gum formation, what is that? When your gasoline undergoes oxidation reaction, then gum formation takes place. Okay, the texture of your fuel, it changes. So that can be known if your dye is there. Some of the example is you can see the samples. Okay, so based on the needed color, you add certain dyes. Okay, like for example for gasoline, sometimes red to pink pigment is used. Okay, the dye color is red to pink. Okay, similarly the diesel might be different. Your oil, the lube oil which you add, it is dark green in color. Okay, which you add into as a lubrication into your engine oil. Okay, that is dark green in color. So that is what? That is not its natural color. That is the addition of dyes. So that was for today's lecture. We completed the whole part of gasoline. In next lecture, we will study about different other fractions of petroleum like naphtha, kerosene, diesel oil, lube oil, its various other properties, test. Okay, so this was the completion of gasoline. So